As kickoff week rolls on, I'm going to preview the Thursday slate of games, give you my thoughts on how these games might play out, and who's going to win them. We're going to start out with the 7 Eastern kickoff on ESPN, an intriguing matchup. UCLA travels to Cincinnati. The Bearcats a 2.5-point favorite. It feels kind of low. Feels like they should be closer to a touchdown than a field goal favorite, but that's where we stand before kickoff. For UCLA, their offense improved down the stretch last season, and with Chip Kelly now in year 2 as head coach, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson in his second year as quarterback as a sophomore, I expect UCLA to continue showing improvement offensively. So for UCLA to win this football game, I think it starts offensively. They can run the football, establish control of the tempo, slow this game down, and run the clock with their running game. They're going to have a chance to win this football game. But what concerns me the most is UCLA ranked 100th at stopping the run last year, and Cincinnati, they ran for over 240 yards a game. Star running back Michael Warren is back for the Bearcats. The guy he replaced last year due to injury, he's back healthy now. Their quarterback is back, so I like Cincinnati in this football game. I think their running game is the difference. I like the Bearcats 30-24. The second game of the night, an intriguing matchup. The reigning national champs welcome in a new-look Georgia Tech team that's transitioning from the triple option to a more modern offense. It's a primetime 8 Eastern kickoff on the ACC network. The Clemson Tigers, a 35.5-point home favorite in Death Valley. Now for me, this game, I know Georgia Tech, so much is made out of how they're transitioning new schemes offensively. But for me, it comes down to, is Clemson going to keep their foot on the gas in the second half? You have games next week against Texas A&M, the week after against Syracuse. So with your two biggest games looming, are they going to want to keep things close to the vest, keep all of the wrinkles in, and just kind of get this win and then move on to the big games ahead of them? If that's the case, I don't think they win by more than 35.5 points, because I think they're going to get up and just kind of cruise to the finish. I think that's what happens, and I think Clemson dominates this football game, but wins only 41-7 over Georgia Tech. And now to the game of the night, one of the best games of the weekend, an intriguing rivalry game. Utah comes in, garnering playoff dark horse type hype, but BYU's been sitting there waiting for the chance to get at their rivals. It's a home game, a primetime night game for BYU. The Cougars, a 6-point home underdog against their arch rivals. An intriguing subplot in this game and in this series has been Utah and BYU. The underdog in this series has covered in 7 of the last 9 meetings. So these games are always closer than people think, and I think that's just how this one plays out. Because BYU is capable along the line of scrimmage in their own right. You have 2 freshman All-Americans back for BYU, who had a year more experience as sophomores, a quarterback in Zach Wilson back for his sophomore year. So despite as much of press clippings as Utah's got, as stout as their defensive line is, I don't think they're just going to completely blow BYU out of the water. BYU's been sitting there all offseason long, just listening to the media rave about Utah, saying, well, they're going to have to come beat us in the opener. And I think you get a motivated and focused BYU team for this rivalry game. It's going to be closer than the experts predict, and I think BYU pushes Utah, and the Utes narrowly escape Provo by a late field goal. I like Utah in this football game, 20-17.